Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, everyone?
Yes. So, this is the first episode of Drum Brain Talks, my first podcast. and I'm extremely honored to have these two genius and brilliant drummers, Yoni Madar from Israel, and Alex Coyne from New York City. It's a pleasure to me have you here both.
Thank you,
And,
thank you.
Likewise,
and
My pleasure.
I'm honored.
So we tried to do this some weeks ago and in an informal way, and was very funny. And we decided to do this more organized. And and I invited my friend, English teacher and drum student, Aloysio. Aloysio, see your beautiful face there. Yes, Aloysio
Hello, guys.
From Minas Gerais,
No,
Brazil. He will
Nice to
be
have you here, guys. Thank you,
yeah,
Ramon.
thank you.
Likewise.
he will be helping me with my poor English. Sorry for my English. I say in advance. Sorry about my English.
Your English is actually quite good. Do not worry.
Yes, and guys, I think some. First of all, I love you. Your playing, both of you. Your coordination,
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
technique, and your musicality. And I'm extremely honored to talk with you both. Oh, and
Likewise.
I prepare some questions just to start the conversations, and we can exchange ideas here. So the
Mhm.
first question that I would like to ask you is, how and when did you start playing and studying drums, and what drummer was the fundamental for your leap to drums? Did you understand my English?
Um,
Is okay?
oh,
So
it's great.
start to
Oh,
Alex.
I'll go first. So I started playing, got my first drum pad because it was funny. I wasn't driven to play the drums as much as I saw someone play and wondered, does this person get tired when they play? And I found out, and the answer was most definitely yes. Uh, so I watched this kid play when I was 12, and I said I really wanted to do that, and I got my first drum pad. It was a Casio pad that I broke two of them before my parents finally agreed to get me a drum set because they saw that I was dedicated enough. So my first real influence was Travis Barker from Blink-182 because I
Yeah,
heard those songs and I didn't know it was possible to play that fast. Now, seeing what Yoni does and what you do, that's like child's play at this point. We have people playing snare cadences with one hand right now, and like both of you break the speed of sound at this point. So at the time, that was a big influence on me, made a big impact. And so I started practicing a lot even when I was young. I was just trying to practice 5 or 6 hours a day. And then I heard Virgil Donati, and Virgil is my all-time hero to this day.
yes, for sure.
So Virgil was probably my biggest influence as
Yes,
far as technique and as far as just flow and how I want my playing to sound. I
yes.
truly feel Virgil it has been and always will be my all-time hero.
Yes, for sure. Visual is a monster. Amazing.
Yeah.
And Yoni, when did you start, and what was the main drummer that influenced you?
I started something like 10 years, 10 years when I was 10, something like maybe before the the drummer that influenced me, it's Phil Collins. It's the first drummer that I heard from Genesis.
Yeah,
Before that, I heard a lot of drummers, but I didn't know their names. So Phil Collins is the first drummer that I recognized.
yes. Phil Collins.
And then I heard also Barrymore Barlow. He played with Jethro Tull, Jethro Tull,
Uh-huh.
and also John Bonham. And then I start with Weckel.
Yeah, Ever.
And after that, I started to develop my own things.
Yes.
To develop my own thing, it starts very immediately, but it take a while to bring your stuff. If you understand what I mean.
Yes. Perfect.
And that's
Yes. Perfect. I started with 12 years old, but I started first playing guitar. I playing guitar. I just studied 6 months of guitar, and a friend came to my home with a snare drum and a hi hat stand with a pair of hi hats and a pair of sticks, and I fall in love with this
with the
instrument
drums.
and started to study. And of course, I love to Brazilian drummers, Celso de Almeida, Everton Silva, Carlos Bala. There's a lot of Brazilian heroes here, but of course, I started to and I learned to love Colaiuta, Devoeco, Danny Chambers. That's triunvirato. That's trio that in the maybe 20 years ago started to be here in a video cassette lessons, and I started to study it. And this is the question. A question that I will improvise now that was in the my line my is how much uh, is how much is for you, or how important is for you to find your own way, your own voice on drums. It started this started very quickly, very in the beginning, as Yoni says, or is a thing that came more and at this time with maturity. How do you feel about find your voice on drums?
I feel personally like I found mine later than most people do. For example, it took me, I went to school for jazz. And being honest, I sucked at jazz then and I suck at jazz now. I'm a C plus jazz player at best. But I feel like it's where some people find their own voice when they're 20, 21. It took me till my late 20s, I feel like, to really start developing my own voice, simply because I feel like one of the things that I wanted to do was similar to the way both of you have, is we all were developing our own techniques and our own mechanics behind the drums. And for me, that just takes a lot of time, especially when it comes to the level of complexity and the advanced sort of material that you're working with. So for me, I feel like I was really only getting comfortable with it in the past 3 years, roughly.
Yeah.
So I think that it's obvious, it's incredibly important, probably the ultimate goal, to achieve your own sound. But at the same time, for me, I was not able to do it until later than I feel like a lot of people do. But again, you know what? The growing process helps with that. And so, look, if I had $1 for every time I've been fired or botched an audition, I could buy us all a really nice dinner right now.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think it comes more with maturity.
Exactly.
This, and Yoni, did you start very 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 soon? So to looking for your own voice, as you said minutes ago, is it right?
And I, I didn't think about that too much. That's come very natural for me to
Yeah,
start developing things because I like music very much, but when I think technically, I think physics, not music. Then I put them together, the physics and the music. But
yeah,
if you want to develop a new technique, or if you want to improve exist technique, you need to think like an engineer, not like a musician, because it's not always music.
yeah,
A lot of time, it's come from motion and reaction, action and reaction. It's physics,
Yeah.
It's not all the time. Not all the time it's music, but you need to bring it to the music. So
Yeah.
because I consider myself a musician, so first of all it's music, but I have a lot of things with physics and mathematics and all those stuff, and I try to combine them to the music. And maybe because it's not always clean music, so it's very easy for me to bring new stuff, because if you are a clean musician, it's very hard to bring new stuff, because we have hundred of years of great musicians that develop a lot of technique. So if you want to bring something new, it's not easy, and it's very difficult. But for me, because it's not always clean music, it's very easy. If you understand, I think like a robot, and people saying that. By the way, I'm the cousin of Megatron. Everyone knows.
Yes, I think on this, I think that we when we have a life of music, I'll say, let me explain myself. It's if I think uh, more you read, you are have some different experiences of of the music. You can bring a different feelings and sensations into the your playing, and think differently,
Of course.
because we have to, of course, we have a life of the drums and the musician, and being a musician. We have to uh, um, build our brains, and start to learn more about other aspects of life, and for sure it's very interesting. And another question that I just did a checklist to ask you, my friends. Um, an interesting thing that I will ask you is, talking about freehand, open close, or push and pull. Do you think that it could be well applied in a musical sense?
Yes.
Did you-
Um, when we're talking, you both absolutely destroy me when it comes to the push pull and a lot of those extended techniques. However, when it came to the freehand, that was something that I heard uh, a drummer named John Longstreth, who's also in Murder Hands, do years ago. He did it in metal, where it was meant to simulate a wall of sound. So it was meant to sort of, you were against the cymbal, it was just straight 16th notes in the right hand. And so for me, I feel like it was used that way, and then we saw Johnny Rabb and those guys sort of use it. But a lot of what it was for me was that I felt like you could turn it into an ostinato phrase. So for example, you could take this phrase, right? So 3 in the hand.
Yeah.
And then what I would do is, then you do, every one of those is a free hand. And then in your foot, you do a double. And then play against it like that. So that was my idea of the freehand technique, was doing something like that and using it maybe as a little more of a kind of a phrase. So I came up with a thing called freehand rudiments, where you were doing paradiddles and you do different rudiments over the drums like that. So I know Yoni does something similar as well, but I'm primarily best at the freehand. I feel like I'm only qualified to talk about the freehand in the presence of you two. Let me put it that way.
No. Freehand is with Yoni. Yoni, what do you think this? Do you think this type of techniques could be well applied in a musical way, or being musical using this, or what's your view about it? About it,
You speak about freehand, or
freehand, this extended techniques.
I tell you what I think. And most of people, when they start to play drums, they start with the simple things that brings them to be on time easily. So if you want to be on time with freehand, or if you want to be on time with open close, or you call it a push pull, or rubbing, when we, the
Like
technique that you use a lot. So that's may very difficult to bring it on time, and bring it on time. That's the more that's the thing. So if you can bring those techniques on time and not to use them only to show speed, so I think those techniques are perfect to use, and that's an incredible thing. But the problem, I think, that a lot of great drummers think that open close or freehand or all those stuff, that's a magic trick, and we don't need that. And I think that's a very wrong way to think about that. And that way to think about that, that's because the timing, because when you want to bring it on time, it's very difficult. So everyone, including professional and great drummers, don't want to use those techniques because it's difficult to bring it on quantize and to bring it on time. Okay, so a lot of great drummers said, that they said to me that things that's no, it's a shtick, it's a trick, it's a magic trick. We don't need that. We don't need to use it. No, I think if you know how to use it, you use it, and if you don't, so you don't use it. So
yeah,
maybe that's wrong way to think about that. Okay, because that way is not for beginner drummers. That's for drummers who play something like 10 years, 15 years,
yeah,
and then you can start to develop that after 2 or 3 years. But in most cases, you need the time to bring those technique,
yes,
and the problem is the timing, and the other problem is about volume. So if you want a great volume and you don't use triggers, so maybe freehand is more quiet, or open close is more quiet, but you can use it on the cymbals, okay? Or you can put triggers. You have a lot of, if you want to use it, you can use it. But the main problem is the timing, because you need to work on the timing with those techniques 10 times than the Moller, let's say. The Moller is great technique, but it's basic. It's basic. It's not behind basic. When you play only Moller, it's basic. If you go to the open close and you what we call the hybrid. What is hybrid? When you combine two techniques, hybrid.
Yeah.
So you can use Moller and open close and freehand, and you can see that to bring it on time is very difficult, and you need to work on that 10 times than other technique. So I think because of that, a lot of professional drummers don't like that. They don't like it because they need to work a lot on that, and that's if you understand. That's my thought about that. But I like those techniques. I like the freehand. I like the open close. I like the rubbing, dig, 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 dig. That's a great. I think you are number one in the world who use that technique, the rubbing.
I think that both of you. I emphasize that I think that both of you have rewritten the book when it comes to these techniques. I really do think that you two have rewritten, completely changed.
I think, really honestly, I think Ramon is number one in the world in those techniques.
No.
I do those techniques nicely. But now Ramon is number one. Seriously, without joking and without nothing. That's the truth.
I think Yoni. I think you're number one with the bigger open close, and with the rocking motion in the foot, as well as the power you get out of it with that stuff. That's you're number one, indisputably. So I would say both of you absolutely have rewritten what's possible.
We are both number one. No, this is a joke.
See, there you go. All right.
It's a fouet. I used to cook a lot of cakes.
That's great.
Beat the cake for me, okay?
That's you are a genius, my friend. You are a genius.
I would agree.
No. But I'm talking about this. I started to post almost every day some videos about.
Sorry, just a second, Ramon. I'm the ghost guy here.
Oh yeah. That's...
Just because they are saying that you should level up a little bit your mic. Can you do that? Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Your voice is a bit low.
Yes, I'm a soft talker.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
And, yeah, let's check if what they say. And we have a few questions here. Can I tell you now?
Yes. I would just finish my explanation because
okay.
I forgot what I said. Just 30 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you, Aloysio. I started to create this and try these techniques and started to post on Facebook on Drum Secrets by Yoni Badar as a Facebook page.
Same here.
Is it yours?
It's mine. Yes, I create that. How do you say that group?
Yes, that's group.
That's my group.
Yeah, thank you for accepting me there.
Thank you.
I started to post.
Thank you.
I started to post some videos there and some other drum groups on Facebook, and some guys told me, "Oh, why do you do this? When I play with this, do you know mallets? Start to play mallets and don't do this." Yes, there's always some strange guys that don't agree with us and are haters. There's a lot of this type of guys.
I like them a lot.
But we have to. It's a matter of time, of course. I started to apply my way of doing this push and pull 20 years ago, and just after 15 years, I start to post and share and try to get some movement on my social medias. But that's of course it's a matter of time. 10 years, 15 years practicing with patience and don't stop to study other things, coordination and molar and traditional techniques.
If you're stopping to practice on your coordination, you stop developing yourself. And if you stop developing yourself, that's the end. That's the end of being a musician, in my opinion. And you can see, Dave Weckl is always pushing themselves to the next level. I hope I speak correct.
Yes.
I like one of the reasons that I like Dave Weckl. He always push forward.
Yeah.
Always. And also Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny is a guitar player, but he's always push forward. And I think if you are a serious musician and you stop practicing on technique, this is the end.
Yes.
If you consider yourself as a writer, that's something else. Okay, you write the music and other musicians play what you write. That's great.
Yeah.
But if you want to be serious player, you need to practice on your technique every day until the grave, and that's not a joke. And it doesn't mean that you're going to use all the technique that you practice on.
Yeah.
You cannot use nothing. When I play with people, I play.
Oh, beautiful vocal drum sound you have.
Incredible.
That's what I like to play, and that's what I play. But when I practice, that's word two. How do we say that? Okay.
So when you practice, you're working on yourself or coordination. When you practice your
a lot of coordination, a lot of development. I usually I don't use those when I play with musician. I like when I play guitar and some drummer play with me. I like them to be quiet.
Yeah.
So when I play with other musician, I play quiet because that's what I like when someone play with me drums. So I think the drums it's depends on the style. Okay, if you play a busy jazz or busy Brazilian style, so you need to play busy. That's the style. But if you play Pink Floyd, you can't move too much. And if you play also if you play easy rock, or I don't know, play the slow rock, or I don't know, you need to think about every note and to think about the sound, think about the timing, to think about the balance. For me, one of the things that makes other drummers to me to love them is about the balance. Okay.
Yeah.
So balance for someone who hear music, it may sound simple, but it's not simple. It's not simple to play the cymbal quiet and to bring the bass drum and the snare very loud. It's not simple because your body wants to bring the crash very loud. Okay, and you need to stop your body from being the crash very loud. Okay. And and when you go to the fields, ta ta ba da ba da ba da, ta dum ta. So if you want the man who does the sound, what's the sound man? The sound man, if he turn the how do we say those
microphones, overheads.
Overheads. In my opinion, you need the overheads loud, and you play the cymbals quiet, so I don't need to. How do we say that? Turn on.
Turn down or lower, so you don't need to lower the volume.
Yes, so you need to bring the balance. In my opinion, if you put all the faders on zero, and you bring the balance without the soundman touch the faders, that's a really a level of great drummers.
Yeah.
To work a lot on balance.
Natural sound and balance and mixing yourself.
Mixing yourself with one microphone, with one mic. You mixing yourself with one mic, and if you sound good with one mic, you sound good. If you don't have something, if you don't have bass drum or snare with one mic, so you need to work on that and to bring it to what we called all the faders on zero. Okay, that's very important. And of course, all the technique stuff, it's great, but you need to think about your balance, to think about your timing, to think about your sound, to think about a lot of things before the technique and all the magic stuff. I like magic.
Yeah.
In the first place, I had to be. I want to be a magician.
Oh.
No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Talk about magic. This is my book. It's about coordination.
Great.
Just to share with you, this is my book, Brazilian Rhythms studies.
I love that book, by the way. I think it's wonderful. I've worked out of it, so I can tell you I think it's great. Adding to what Yoni said too, I think a big part of that too. I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of recording just as my job, as running a studio. I think constantly recording yourself is one of the best things you can do, because you're dialing yourself in, and then when you send it to a producer, they can say, this does not feel right, this feels good, too loud in the overheads, too. As you said, Yoni, it's very important to work on balancing your sound. We're seeing what works dynamically, and that affects your technique ultimately, because maybe you need a way to keep something a certain volume, hit a cymbal at a lower volume, keep the snare rim shots louder, and you constantly figure that out, I think, as you record yourself in any genre of music. So I think that's very important, and to your point right there.
I agree. Aloysio, ask the share the question. Aloysio, are you there? Are you on the?
Yes, I am. Hi, ghost guy. Yeah, it's just Breno saying, "What is life off drums?" Ha ha ha. Because Ramon said, I think life off drums.
Breno, I mean, we have to have a life thinking on drums, reading a lot, increasing our knowledge, and how can I say? I don't know how to say it in English, but we have to build our knowledge.
Maybe you say, and our friend can translate.
Educate yourself. So educate, or
I remember that we have to expand our knowledge, our perception. Don't using drugs, just reading a lot, praying, and studying.
Drugs can makes you. How do we say that? When you play slow and slow and slow and slow, laid back.
Yes, for sure.
If you want to play laid back, it's great. But if it's because drugs, so that's a problem. Because of that, don't drink before gig and don't take drugs.
Yes.
Very important. Don't take drugs at all.
Yes, I hate drugs. We have to expand our knowledge and our perception of reality, reading and talking with people, with smart people, and studying and practicing. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Breno is my student, former student.
Another person here, Dani Avinha. I think she's asking to play a 5-on-8. Does anybody want to play that?
I'll do it.
I like more 6 and 7.
So 5/8.
5/8. Yeah.
So that's paradiddles, and the feet will be the 8. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that to me is 5. That's how I feel 5/8 is. Usually I'll think of a pattern or some phrase that I know, and think of it as, I call them anchor points, and it's intersections, or where I hear the phrase repeating, and then I try and hear how everything would interact and intersect. And then I make sure, as Yoni said, that everything is in time. And the reason I like practicing on these pads is because I really hear if my limbs are not aligning. Alignment is one of the most important things, and it's something that when you record yourself, you really hear when you're off.
Yeah,
so
very on the grid.
Great.
Yeah. I have another question for you.
Okay. Okay. Eric is asking, saying that he has seen Yoni Madar playing on a left-handed kit, and he's asking, why did you do that, and how did you develop this left-hand technique or left kit technique, Yoni?
As I said before, I like to practice a lot, and it doesn't mean that I use it when I play with other musicians. But for me, coordination is the main goal as a musician who I work on myself to bring myself to the next level with coordination, which is come to the playing when I play drum solo or when I want to play something very complicated. So I started before the drums. I started with the left guitar. So I start with right-handed guitar 20 years, and then I turn off turn off or turn on. I don't know. Turn off. Flip the guitar to the left to
Put it
develop
on.
develop my coordination. And then I said to myself, if I'm doing that with the guitar, so I'm going to do it with drums also. So I turn off or turn on. I don't
Turn
know.
around. So turn around.
Turn around.
Turn around. Yeah.
The drum
Flip
set
around.
to the left to develop my coordination and to feel more comfortable when I play on right-handed drums. But you need to be careful with that because if you do it a lot, and I did that something like more than 12 years, something like 15 years, something like that, and it starts to damage my right-handed technique. So when I start to play right-handed drums, I start to feel like, no, it's not my place. I want left drums. So now I only right-handed drums, and of course I have all the about what I practice all my life, so I remember everything. But the episode with the left now it's very, how do we say that? It's not the main thing.
Focus.
The main
Not the
thing.
main focus.
Yes, yes. One more
So
question.
I think it's great to do it 20 minutes or 30 minutes every day. That's great to feel, and very very simple thing like boom ta boom ta. But when you play that kind of groove, boom ta, you need to play the movement with the elbow, okay, not close, boom ta boom ta. So the movement is the thing, okay. It's not about if you play simple groove or complicated groove. It's not about it's simple or complicated. It's about the movement. So when I see a great drummer play boom, boom, ta, what interests me is how he moves. Okay,
Yes.
so the move, how you move, that's the main thing. So you need to develop the movement both sides, and it's not about a complicated groove or simple groove. It's about movement, okay? Stereo movement, not mono, okay?
Uh-huh. Yes,
I hope
perfect.
I can help
Yes.
you.
One
Thank you.
one more question for you. Um, I will read my question that I wrote. I have read I have read a lot about cognition, and some scientists say that more you practice it, more knowledge and skills go from the surface into the subconscious place, being more easily accessed. Do you agree with this? Do you think that
You
how
ask
much
me?
more
You
you,
ask
yeah,
me?
more you practice, more you
Completely
play?
agree with. Completely agree. 100%. If you practice coordination, the more you do it, the more you develop the neural pathways, and your brain learns to think and use muscle memory, as
Yeah,
well as the new developments and your new, as Yoni talked, balance. So your balance. And not only that, the more advanced your coordination becomes, the more, once again, to Yoni's point, your movements sync up. Your body almost learns to
yeah,
sync the movements together as
yeah.
as coordination and as interdependence between your limbs. So I completely agree with it. Yoni, what do you think?
For me, the subconscious is very important because I think everything come from there. So if you practice a lot, that's all go to the subconscious.
Yes. Yes.
But you need to practice a lot if you want to bring a lot of stuff to your subconscious. And then it's like I want to speak English, but I always stuck. I don't know how to speak. I want to speak something and I forgot. And why is that? Because I don't practice enough. I need to
The
practice
same
enough.
with me. The same
And
with me.
You guys are fine.
that's the same. That's the same thing. Because if you want to speak, you need to practice on sentence. You need to practice on things that you use. If not, you can't improvise, because all the improvise come from the subconscious. For me, I think the conscious can improvise, can improvise, because if you think about what you're going to improvise, that's not all the improvise. Real improvise, it's to play free from the subconscious. And if you want to play from the subconscious, you need to practice a lot and bring the stuff from nowhere, but it's not nowhere. This is the subconscious, okay?
Yes.
So for me, the subconscious it's more important, and also to hear a lot of music, because when you hear a lot of music, it's also go to the subconscious. And sometimes you think that you develop something, but you develop nothing because you hear that and you forgot that you hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's very important to be aware if you develop something or you hear it and you forgot that you hear it.
Yeah.
Okay? But also great with that is if you hear something and you forgot and you develop something that's similar, but it's not exactly the thing that you heard, what you heard, okay?
Yeah.
I hope my English, you know.
It's good.
But when you try to remember something and you don't, that brings something new.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
understand what I mean?
Yes.
And a lot of stuff that I develop is because I try to remember something that I forgot and I bring something new. So that's a trick. That's a trick to develop a new thing, because if you want to bring your own voice, and that's kind of stuff, you need to hear a lot of stuff and forgot that, and try to remember, but don't try too much. Try 50%, and that's going to bring something new. Okay.
Yes. I think nothing is 100% new. We always use some things from another guy and mix 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 it up a little bit and create a new things as a melting pot. I like we are mixing all the things and became a new thing.
Completely agree.
There's another question here. Can I show it?
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Luis.
Okay, that's Mag number 8, Mag N8. Can you practice the push and pull technique on a cushion to build up speed and control? What do you guys think?
What is cushion?
When you
Pillow.
sleep on the
Pillow.
franceiros.
Yeah.
Pillow.
Yeah. Pillow.
Pillow. Okay, I want to speak about pillow.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
No, it's your
Pillow, it's not drums. Okay? Drums, it's drums. Pillow, it's pillow. If you want to be a boxer, so pillow is great. But if you want to be a drummer, pillow it's not good for you. And I want to give you an example. You know the tennis, when we play tennis, so we have the grass player and we have the, I don't know the name of that. It's not grass, it's something else. What's the name of that?
I don't know. You know, Aloysio.
So if you are a champ,
The hard one or the brown one?
we have the grass and we have the other.
The concrete or asphalt.
Yes, asphalt. Okay.
Asphalt. Okay.
So
Grass and asphalt.
So if you champ on grass, you have some problem with the asphalt, and if you champ on asphalt, you have some problem on the grass.
Yes.
And that makes me to think, why is that? This is the same movement, everything is the same. But your brain, if you practice a lot on grass, your brain wants the grass. I don't know how to, I don't have language to.
Yeah, it's the difference in feel, meaning that you're used to the rebound on the grass, or you're used to a certain feel on the grass. So when you serve onto the grass in tennis, it's a different feel and it's a different bounce, and it's the same thing with drums, where we feel the surface rebound is different, and if you're playing on a pillow, you're becoming used to no rebound, whereas the drum, even a really dead floor tom, still has some rebound.
So it's about rebound, and it's about how your brain think about the rebound, okay? And if you play on pillow, it's great for wrist, okay? If you want to develop your wrist, so the pillow for me, it's similar to the floor tom, because the floor tom is very low and very soft, okay? It's not exactly pillow, but it's kind of, okay? But if you want the basic technique, which is wrist, so pillow may nice, but snare drums, it's not pillow. Snare drums, you have a lot of bounce from the snare, and you need to control that bounce. When I was 12, I practiced a lot on pillow, and when I come into drums, I had a lot of bounce, but I didn't know how to control the bounce, because everything is, you understand what I mean? Everything is bounce, and you need to control that. You need to know how to use it. And if you practice a lot on pillow, that's not the thing, in my opinion. And I want to say one more thing. If you take Ramon technique use a lot of movement and a lot of intelligent coordination and movement. That's not about power.
Yeah.
The pillow is about power. If you want to be a boxer, pillow is great. And some guys, they have a lot of speed only with the wrist. I don't know how they doing that, because I can't bring speed with my wrist. Like, I have a medium speed with my wrist. I'm not very speed guy with the wrist, because the wrist, how do we say that? It's very simple technique. In my opinion, wrist, it's almost nothing. What is wrist? Ta 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 ta. It's nothing. You don't need to think about nothing. You need to practice something like 3 months, and that's all. You have the wrist. The wrist is nothing. But if you want to play like Ramon, let's say, you need to practice 15 years. Okay, because it's more intelligent, more movement, more coordination. So I think the wrist is great to play a very stable thing. If you want to play loud, and if you want to play with the great sound, big sound, boom, boom, the floor. You want to play a very loud snare. But if you want to develop your coordination and your speed, develop not the net speed. We speak about coordination and movement. That's something else. So if you want to practice on a pillow, not more than 20 minutes a day, because you don't need more than that.
Yes, I agree.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yes. And guys, do you follow some routine of studies every day? What is your routine?
Yes. For me, I try and clock at least 6 hours in every day. Especially, I do an hour on my hands, an hour on my feet, and then I work on my coordination for probably 2 hours. I do micro timing for another hour, and then I work on trying to combine all of it. So, just improvisation or just various ideas, utilizing stuff. Or I'll watch Yoni's video or your video, Ramon, and I'll think, let me try and do that, even though I can't. So it's always something to work towards.
Yeah, that's very nice. And you, Yoni. First, before Yoni answer, thank you for your knowledge about last class that we have. You told me about that you told, and I'm practicing almost every day. That type of
Great.
I'm thinking of Yoni, and But
You know,
I'm
it's funny because like for me, when people ask like when my double technique, like I mean, it's sorry the pedal moved, but yeah, when I worked on that, it's the opposite of heel toe. I do toe ball, so it's like the slide technique. So you do toe slide up, and then it eventually gets lower. And then to do the flam stuff, what I did was add in a heel down at the end. So to do the flam taps like that. So I just added in a heel down at the end. So that was kind of my take on it. Whereas I know Yoni's is much more of the rocking motion. So I think it's really just about.
Yes, my last lesson will be with you, Alex.
Hey, come on! Anytime, just hit me up.
You have to.
Can I take 1 minute break?
I'm trying to this, Yoni. Thank you.
That's the slide.
It's very in the beginning. But very in the beginning. Sorry.
It's great. That's awesome to see.
Just show you that I'm practicing. I'm a good student, and I'm trying to improve my techniques. Thank you, Yoni.
My pleasure.
Just let me see.
Can I take 1 minute and I break?
Okay. The Carter. Oh, so Alex, I just started to practice and study more about this foot techniques this last 3 or 4 months, and I think it will take a lot of time to improve my foot techniques. But I'm trying to use this heel toe as I show here. But I'm just thinking on bass drum as a part of phrasing, not just to complete my phrasing, not because I'm always I never played heavy metal or more progressive rock. I'm always I've been a Brazilian and all around play pop songs and some Latin, but more Brazilian and jazz, some jazz. So I prefer to use this type of more thinking on phrasing.
Oh, completely. For me, a lot of what it was like I wanted my feet to basically replicate my hands. So let's say you would do 5-stroke rolls in your hand, right? Then you would. Okay. So what then you would do is if you could take the 5-stroke rolls in the hands, put them in the feet, then play. So then you could then, in theory, and take the hands and have the feet solo against them too. So I wanted my feet and hands, like the feet, to actually be able to do not just singles and doubles, because we've seen a lot of people do whatever. You do singles, doubles, but what really combine into like hybrids, rudiments, flams, flam 5s, flam drags. So really getting them into where we're getting into territory where your where your feet really solo like your hands. So to me, it's the same way. I think of it as part of phrasing, but I thought of it more as I wanted to take classical snare pieces, similar to what you did with Will Coxon in the one hand. Take classical snare pieces and put them into the feet with dynamics. So you would have, so you take like rolling and rhythm, you'd have like. All right, dynamics lower. So you incorporate dynamics to, you make it like what you're doing with one hand. So really, like what it is for me is I just treated my feet the way you treated your right hand. I think we literally approach it in almost the same way.
Can you send you? Can you send me your foot, your feet, as a gift for me? Okay,
Clearly Yoni is okay. You know what? Chop your right hand off. Send it to me. I'll give you my feet. And then Yoni can give us like I prefer that like everything Yoni has. So we need his knowledge.
Yeah.
You only need to play Meshuga. Digligi, diglaga, digligi, digligi, daglaga, digliga, 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 digliga. But I want to say something about Meshuga band.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, great band, and I like.
Oh yeah.
And we have the something like that. I not remember exactly. But the herta, that's a darbuka technique. Here in the Middle East, we play it a lot. So I didn't learn that from bleed sugar. I learned that from darbuka players. And then I bring it to the foot because I don't know heavy metal music. It's new stuff for me. And when I play,
Hey guys,
That's the Darbuka stuff. That's the Darbuka.
Beautiful. Yes.
So for me, going to the Herta. So for me, one of the things that I worked on was because I studied marching. So you had an exercise called Pantera, which I guess had some relation to the band, but the exercise was using right and left Herta. So it was. And then what I would do is in the feet, do the same things, you know. So you were working on right and left lead Hertas. And I thought that was a good way to develop that sort of switch effect for balance. So you would have that sort of like alternation of the Hertas. So I agree with you. The Hertas are a really good thing for the feet. I completely agree.
That's what you play now. It's Herta to the left side and Herta to the right side. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very important because a lot of students play the Herta only right side. Liga, and we need to galgale, if you understand my language.
Yeah.
Or galgale. Yeah. You need to speak the phrase. And that's the thing, to speak the phrase. Maybe it's sound funny, but if you don't know how to sing what you want to play, that's a big problem. And when I practice on the piano, I sing what I play. And when I practice on the guitar, I also sing. And when I practice on the drums, I also sing. You need to speak it, because if you speak it, this is to bring it to the subconscious. That's the thing. If you speak drums or speak guitar or speak piano or sing whatever in music, that means that you have it in your body. You have it in the subconscious. If we speak about the subconscious.
Yes.
So that's very important to sing the things. And also, if I give advice about that, for me to sing drums, if we speak about drums, to sing grooves, it's like you have one more limb, okay?
Yes.
So if I play or it's like your voice is one more limb, and you can to do it with that something like this. I need to practice on that also. So if you treat your voice as an extra limb, That's
Yeah.
totally a different level of thinking about what you can do with your voice with while you're playing. Okay, and
Yeah.
in Drumeo, I saw some drummers who play keyboards when he
Yeah,
sings, and also sing and also play drums. I don't know, I don't remember his name, but
Josh
he's
Dion. He's
he's, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge musician, huge singer, huge drummer. Maybe when you play drums, one hand, that may feel simple, but it's not simple because he play the bass also and he sing, and
Yes.
huge musician, really
Yeah.
huge musician. That's music for me. You know? That's music.
Yeah. It's a multitask multi multitasking way of thinking and playing this a lot of taskings and multitaskings. Um, Alex, what method would you recommend to improve my double bass?
I have something to ask Ramon.
Okay, ask me. Just Breno, a student of mine, asking Alex, what method would you recommend to improve his drum technique?
every single thing. Okay, so there's a lot I can say about this, but every single thing that you do in your right side, do in your left. So I used to run stick control between this hand, right? So you do. And so you would want to repeat that. And don't make it sound like there is any difference between sides. You want your sides to be 100% even. So I would recommend running stick control and certain phrases at slower tempos because this is about muscle memory. But you want to work on each side individually because you need to strengthen your limbs. And as Yoni talked about, your balance. Another thing, and we're gonna go with Yoni again on this, practice a left-handed drum set. If your left foot is bad, if you feel like your left foot is weak or your whichever foot you feel is weaker, practicing with that side can be very good and very helpful. So I believe that that's a good, those are good methods is to really address each limb as such. So stick control in both sides was big for me.
By the way, you say muscle memory. That's
Mhm.
exactly subconscious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Subconscious, that's muscle memory, and we need to
Completely.
understand it because that's all about.
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
So
Ask
I
me.
want to ask Ramon about something because I see you play very fast with your left hand and very fast with your right hand. And
Ah.
I have a curiosity. Curiosity? How do you say that? I'm curious.
Curiosity.
I'm curious because I think you may play the fast single on earth if you separate them.
Uh-huh.
You tried that technique?
Yes, this you mean doing this?
Yes, yes, exactly about that. I'm playing. Yes, yes.
I've been trying this, but it's not good yet. But yes,
What's the number? Sorry to be so sportively, but I want to know the numbers. What when you play the push pull open close single? How much is fast? What's the tempo?
Yeah.
once I tried in a Chinese pad drum pad that has a counter there, and I tried just 3 or 4 times, and I think if I remember well, I was 5 or 6 points under the how can I say the limit the record.
World record.
Yes,
Mhm.
but it's a matter of practicing during 1 minute. But
I think
I
if you do it 1 minute, you're going to be the champion of the world. No, I'm serious.
I
People
completely agree.
people like those things, After that, you can play them jazz. Before you
Uh,
you show them your single, and
yeah,
then
it could
you
help me.
know.
It could help me a little bit more to take some students, or my bank account could be a bit more more full. But okay, yes, I have to practice a little bit more this.
That is nuts. It's insane.
But I really prefer to let me turn the camera just a bit. I really prefer to try this more in a musical. Ah, yeah, Yannis lesson. Ah, it's a piece of shit. So I'm always trying to apply this, but trying to be musical. That's my personal challenge, but I'm in the way, I think.
He is the champion of the world.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
No, 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 no. And my friends, I have another question for you. A simple one, but I think it's very important. Yoni is freezing. Just me. Is it okay? Aloysio, are you
Mm.
here? Are you there? Oh, okay. Are you listening? Okay. I think Yoni is freezing. But the
Nope.
question,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
yes,
Okay.
come back. The question is, how do you think that music scene will be COVID, post-pandemic times? The music scene. What do you think about that?
Again, the question again, please.
How do you think that music scene will be post-COVID, post-COVID?
After the COVID,
Yes, after the COVID time.
I
Do you
don't know
think
to
this?
answer about that. I don't know the answer. What do
Yeah,
you think?
I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
it's gonna. I think it's going online more. I think online events are going to be bigger.
Yeah.
Are going to be more. I think what we're doing here, like online streaming, online classes, are going to be a much bigger thing. I think that events are returning, but they are slow. I mean, here your people are playing, but international travel will be very slow for a while. And I think the internet is going to play a much bigger part now in music.
Yes, I'm missing the travels to
Me
Europe.
too.
Yes, I love to do this type of drum camps and master class and play with different people. Yes, I don't know. Here, some shows are coming back. I'm restarting again, but slowly than before. I don't know. In Israel, Yoni, uh, I saw you playing in a open space with in a parties. Is it correct? Is these things coming back again?
The show in
Yes,
Israel? Yes,
yes,
it's better than a year ago. but I really don't know where it's going. You know,
Yeah.
I hope it's going to be the coronavirus end. I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it. I want the coronavirus end from the world.
Yeah.
But you know, we have a lot of conspiracy. How do you say that?
Conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy
Conspiracy
theories
theories.
said that UFO come to Earth and take all the drummers to.
Oh,
I really don't know what is the, you know.
I
Yeah.
am.
Sorry.
I'm hoping it's Cthulhu, man. I'm really hoping Cthulhu rises up and ends everything.
I tell you that through I like the all the internet and all those meetings that speak about music, speak about technique, and all the Zoom meeting and all the Skype lessons. I like that a lot because I think it's I think the student more concentrate in the Zoom meeting or a Skype lesson more than when he come to my room,
Yeah.
to the studio. I feel that's more concentrate when I bring a drum lesson if with the Zoom or with the Skype, the student is more concentrate. That's what I think.
I can see that, yeah, for sure.
You feel that's
Um,
also?
I do,
Yeah.
yeah. I've definitely felt like that there are times where less students have taken more from Skype lessons, but I also felt that too was just because COVID had a lot of people locked inside and they were more inclined to practice rather than go out. So I felt like people were practicing more in the right mentality. So I felt students were doing better that way too.
Yes, I've been teaching online before COVID time, and I think that when I always ask to students to record the lessons and send me a simple video recorded by a phone. But I've been noticing that realizing that when students record the lessons and they want to be the best and record again to send to bring a good result to me to the teacher, and I think it's very positive, this online teaching online lesson, because this type of concentration on recording and send the exercises previously. I think it works a lot and flows very well. The, the teaching, I think, is good. Of course, when you are in personal, you you could see all the aspects of the body of the, because no, not always, not all the students have a good sound and cameras and to record in a good position. But in general, I think it's very positive and very interesting to teach online. This
Not
time,
everyone built for that, but it's great.
yeah, yeah,
So a lot
I
of
would agree.
students want to meet the teacher and to
yeah,
speak with them and to feel like you know together.
yeah, yeah,
But it's not for the information. It's not. It's the same, and in my opinion, it's the same. A lot before the Zoom and before the Skype, you can learn drums from video. Okay,
yeah,
so it's the same idea. It's, in my
yeah,
opinion, it's the same. So here you have a video live, okay, live video, but
yeah,
it's the same. Okay, what's the difference? Because you can't meet Jojo Meyer, so you have video.
yeah,
So you can Skype with Jojo Meyer, and it's the same. Okay,
yeah,
it's the same situation.
yeah,
So I don't think Zoom or Skype it's less than a live meeting.
yeah.
I think
Yes, I agree. And guys, I'm we are going to the end of this first episode. I'm very happy to have you here, both two
thanks a lot.
genius,
Likewise.
three drummers, and two teachers for me. The next lesson will be with you, Alex.
Uh, you know,
And
I'm honored.
just to promote us.
Oh,
This
I don't have. By the way, I don't have it.
I'm sending it to you. I will send it to you. If you don't have it yet, it is going to you.
I don't
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine took
Yeah.
two issues with Alex and
So Alex, you can please send me that.
Yeah. I'll get a couple. I'll get a couple copies. I thought it had gone to you, but apparently international shipping sucks. However, yes, this is all of us.
That's great.
Yep.
and just to promote a little promotion on this next 22 of September, I think next week I will be that's some writing is I will do a masterclass, online masterclass about push and pull, slide, and dual grip basics.
On YouTube?
Yes. No, in Zoom. It's privately. I will charge a little bit for the participants, but you are invited to be as a gift, as friends to come with me.
Thanks a lot.
I'm probably going to do that.
If you want,
timing.
If you want, you are my guests and don't have to pay.
Thanks a lot. I'm going to check.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Yes, and so thank you a lot, Yoni and Alex. Your websites passed on the above the on the screen.
Ramon, do you want to show the books or no?
Yes. Show the cover of.
By the way, all the meeting is on YouTube, and I can see it if I want.
Yes. It will be on my YouTube channel. Show the please, Aloysio, show the Alex Coin's book cover and the Yoni Madar's covers too.
Okay.
Yes, this is the Alex book. This is on Hudson Music. Mine too. Read Imagination is on Hudson Music too. The English book. This is a book and printed. Yes.
Yep. It's online and in paper.
Okay. And Yoni has a ebook on his website motherdrum.com that talks about open close in a brilliant way. Yes, this is the book. This beautiful guy on the screen, character, our favorite character. Yoni, yes, beautiful. And this is mine. Just to don't lose the opportunity.
Great.
This is my book. Yoni, I have to send you as a gift. Yoni, Alex, do I have one of these?
I've got one online. I've got one on digital, but I'd love one on paper. So I'll send you guys two of mine as well.
Thank you.
So,
Ramon, there are two questions here. Can we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Just Sebastian Perez Mondragon is saying to Johnny, how do you face studying various instruments and keeping a good level of performance and a solid progress on all of those individual challenges?
Yeah, a good question.
Again, how do you
face studying so many instruments and keeping a good level of performance?
Sorry, I don't understand the question. How do you face studying?
How do you practice so many instruments and still be good at all of them and progress at all of them?
Now I understand. First of all, I play something like more than 30 years, 4 instruments, and a lot of practice. And when I start practice on guitar, so I concentrate on guitar. It's like I'm not a drummer, I'm not bass player, I'm not the keyboard player, I'm only guitar player. And I practice a lot only on guitar, and think guitar, and dream guitar, and that's all. And then if I want to be a bass player, so I practice a lot on bass, and I forgot all the other instruments. And when I want to be a keyboard player, I concentrate on the keyboards. But you need to keep a lot of time each instrument. at least 5 years of practicing and think a lot about how to develop your technique, coordination, and all that stuff. That's not easy. It's not easy to play 4 instruments. It's not easy, and I'm not highly recommend to do it. Maybe other one more instrument that's better than 4, because 4 maybe can how do you say that? Alex, can you?
4 can kind of scramble your brain a little bit. Yeah.
Confuse your brain.
Yeah.
So because I like music so much, so I practice a lot and think a lot, and maybe one more instrument that's better than 4, and that's mine.
And he says that the question go for all 3 of you. Alex, do you play other instruments as well?
I play very, very poor keys, but I'm a drummer through and through. I'm sort of I've got a one-track mind, so and I've got so much to learn on drums that I kind of focus on that.
Yes, I play a little bit of piano, very little bit, just to compose some things, and I play percussion, pandeiro and cajon. I like to mix some percussion instruments into the drums. Of course, it's a percussion instrument too, but it's a different. There's some different techniques to play cajon and pandeiro, but still percussion instruments. So I
want to say something to Ramon. I think if you start to play a vibraphone with your technique, it's going to be something that no one heard before. Yes. That's what I think. So think about that, because the vibraphone is very great for all the open close and all those stuff. But you can't do bar. That's you can't.
This is true.
That's, by the way, the vibraphone players play with 2 sticks also.
Yes, for sure.
So you don't play a vibraphone?
I just played a little bit during my grad on the. I just played some little pieces, but simple pieces, but with one drumstick in each hand. But it's a good idea. It's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I think he would sound great on the vibraphone. Look, Ricardo Zanoni is saying here, thanks for the lessons, guys. Please keep this video for watching later.
Yes, will be posted on my YouTube channel. Thank you, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Sebastian is saying again, I think it's for Johnny, but you become a one and only instrumentalist, switching by days or by hours. I think he meant if you're studying hours and days.
That's a question again?
Yeah, the same guy who asked before.
But you become one and only instrumental. I don't know to.
So it's like, how do you practice? Do you practice one instrument every day, or do you practice it hours a day? Like, do you divide them? How do you?
If to be honest, those days I'm not practice at all. And that's a lot of years that I'm not practicing. I'm only play when I play with the band and when I play in studio, when I want a specific something, so I practice. But those days I'm not practicing. But when I practice it, it's like I told you before, I concentrate on one. At least 3 years, 5 years on one, without think about nothing. Only if you want to be a guitar player, so play guitar. And don't think about drums, only play guitar. And that's what I did. I play guitar and practice on guitar and think about guitar and hang with guitar players and and to show them, hey, you can do that and you can do that and that and that. It's like and when drummers come to ask me questions, I told them I am not a drummer, I'm a guitar player. So you need to concentrate, and then if you want, you switch to other instrument, and then also concentrate. Because if you play every day something else, that's, in my opinion, that's not good strategy. How-
Strategy.
yes, you need to focus 5 years, 4 years on only one instrument, and then go to other instrument and forget the one. Because a lot of students very afraid to forget all the information, but the brain does not work like that. If you're learning something in high level, that's keep in your mind. You don't afraid to lose all the information. Okay, I hope my English, my English. And when I speak a lot, I speak less good and less good. If I
Yeah.
speak one sentence, that sounds great. You can
Yeah.
may think that I'm a
Yeah, the same.
English player.
So you play 5 instruments. English.
No,
English.
we also yes, English. English, it's also instrument.
So, okay, guys. I, I I don't want to take your time more. Thank you a lot. Thank you, Aloysio,
Thanks a
for
lot.
hosting us and helping us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
a
you.
lot,
Thank
Yoni
you.
and Alex. You are legends and monsters
Appreciate it.
and friends of mine.
Yeah,
Me,
Thanks a lot.
of
it's a pleasure.
course.
Let's take a picture
Let's take
Yes.
a picture.
Here,
before.
hold on.
But we need to be serious. Huh? Now,
Yeah.
Oh,
picture. Take a picture. Take.
Zeros. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you a lot, guys. It
Thanks
was
a lot.
amazing.
Awesome.
It will be on the YouTube channel. You could check it out after later.
Amazing.
It was a
Thanks a
pleasure.
lot. Amazing.
Bye bye.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, guys.